Antigone Rising just performed a great set downstairs at this, what event are we at? Cyber PR, Australian
CMJ.
something.
CMJ rap party.
Sounds of Australia or something.
I noticed that your bio says if the Eagles were pretty and the Allman Brothers had facial hair, that would be you guys. However, have you seen Joe Walsh's long flowing blonde mane lately?
He's pretty.
He is
I
pretty.
think the Allman Brothers.
Yeah, the Allman Brothers, right.
Is that what that?
Yeah, we didn't have facial hair. That would be us, because we don't have facial hair.
Right, exactly. By the way, this is the EP.
Yeah,
Latest
Whiskey and Wine Volume.
Whiskey and Wine, and then the LP is coming soon of the same name.
No, well, the second half.
Second.
That's volume
the
1.
forthcoming.
Volume 2.
This is
It'll be
Whiskey and
another EP.
Wine Volume 1.
Okay.
And then the next
Whiskey
one
and
will be
Wine
Volume 2.
Got it. Okay. And I heard that you guys have a special name for your van. Cheating.
Our van?
Yeah, for your van. What's the name of your van?
Vanna White.
And how many people have been inside Vanna White?
Oh, wait. What happens inside Vanna?
That's a great question. How many people have
This
been
just got
inside
weird.
Vanna White is the question.
Legally, you can't be more than 15.
At once.
And we're sticking
That's
to
a lot of
it.
people.
We're sticking to it.
Fair
Over
enough.
the course of her life, though.
In 2000, you guys did a Kickstarter before Kickstarter was even a thing.
That's
how
right.
How did you know to do that at the time?
Desperation.
Yeah, desperation leads to creativity. We just had a really great fan base, and they started giving us donations to make a CD, and so we decided to put something up on our website. It was before PayPal, so it was like mailed checks to this PO box, and every day we would go to our PO box and every checks.
Wow. So
I know.
actual physical
So we
checks.
raised $10,000. This is like we were still just sort of a real baby band, touring on our own.
Yeah.
I mean, we still do tour on our own.
But it's amazing to see how
We were
the
doing
fans-
open mics still, you know what I mean? Like we were just piecing it together. We would play anywhere.
But it was amazing how the fans really wanted to give
Yeah.
to keep it going,
Sure.
and how much they cared about it. And it's that's what makes it not. It's not about us. It's about us and the fans, and it's a
always
combined experience.
Right.
So it's really cool. Oh no, it always is.
Yeah.
You can't lose sight of that. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Do you feel like people are losing sight of this in this kind of digital age that we're in?
I think
Or
it
is
goes both ways.
better?
I think you can feel more connected, with technology today, because you can literally reach out on social, on any of the social networks and connect with people you never would have had access to.
Sure.
So it's just a different. It's the same thing coming out in a different way,
Gotcha.
But it's always a community.
Awesome.
For us, it's always been.
Sure. And which of you worked with Rob Thomas?
The sisters, right?
I wrote with Rob.
And can I have his phone number?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Awesome.
1-800 Rob Thomas.
We'll tweet it out.
Tweet it. Yeah, just tweet it out.
Tweet it out.
Yeah.
What was that like? Was that cool?
Oh, it was great, yeah. We met him one day. We were signed to Lava Records for a while by a guy named Jason Flum, and Jason had signed Rob. And Jason was really pushing us to co-write, and we really were resistant to co-writing at the time, which in hindsight I think it's so ridiculous that we were, but we were at the time. And he said, well, if you could name one songwriter that you'd be willing to write with, who would it be? And so we threw out Rob Thomas, thinking you'll never get Rob to write with us. And then the next day he said, well, Rob is in the studio in New York City. He wants to meet you today, so go on over and write with Rob.
Wow.
So we went in and we wrote with him, and we had as soon as we met, we had 5 people in common, artists that he had toured with that he was really good friends with, and it was just this crazy chemistry. And we just wrote 2 songs that day, probably in the course of 3 hours, and we've been friends with him ever since.
Yeah,
He's so generous. He's so awesome.
Yeah.
He's just really down to earth.
You feel like you've met him before. You feel like he was your best guy
He's like
friend
your brother.
in high school. Yeah. You're it's the warmest.
Really, really easy.
That's good to hear. 'Cause
Oh, I know.
love him, and
Oh,
that's
he's
good
the
to hear.
nicest.
Yes.
Always buy his records.
He's
Always
got a record
support him.
coming out now, right?
Oh,
He's
does
so
he?
great.
Kristen, you on April 8th, 2013, you and your wife Sarah were on the cover of Time magazine for the Gay Marriage Already Won issue.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, we got a phone call. My wife and I had written a book a few years earlier. We had gotten pregnant on the same day, and we wrote a book for Simon & Schuster about that, our twin pregnancies. And from there, we would get tapped a lot to go out and do media appearances for marriage equality in New York State. So when the Time magazine cover came up, they were calling in, I guess, different couples from around the area to come in and pose for the cover. And so we got the call, we went in, and we got very competitive in the moment. moment, realizing that the cover was on the line. You could be in the issue, or maybe you could have the cover, and so we tried to
Up your game.
Yeah.
a round of applause.
It is
Thank
quite.
you so much. The kiss was
Fantastic.
applause worthy,
Yes,
and we ended
definitely.
up on the cover of Time magazine.
It was steamy.
It was
was.
steaming.
We've
My
since
father,
recreated
when he saw it, he said, he held up the magazine cover, he said, I think you might be the very first Henderson to be on the cover of Time magazine.
But he had to check.
Yes, no,
Yeah.
Just to be sure.
We thought I might have been.
maybe you were.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my sister.
Oh, so you have your sisters, got it. I know you guys have to go. What can you tell me what happened with Mishfest this year?
Well, Mishfest has been, I guess, in the past few years, excluding transgender women from the festival, and a lot of artists are, speaking out against it. And so, I think that they're finding a middle ground, I think, as well, to bridge the gap. But our belief is that, people are people, women are women, a transgender woman and a born woman are, should belong at the festival. So we have artist friends who are transgender who aren't able to perform there anymore, who have boycotted, and so in allegiance with our friends, we've sort of stood by them.
And just transgender friends in general who are really facing a horrible fight.
Right.
And the LGBT community has done so much that the T shouldn't be falling off.
Right.
And it does feel like that in a lot of situations. And if there's something that we can do.
Very much we count on the straight community, the lesbian and gay, bisexual community counts on our straight allies. I feel like the transgender community has to count on the LGBT community to support them. So for us, it's kind of a no-brainer. We appreciate the festival. It's fine, they have their beliefs, but for us, it's just not something that we can support or continue to play
Right.
while that is in effect.
Especially within the LGBT community
That's
itself, right?
For us, yeah.
So AntigoneRising.com is the website, and the whiskey. It was the whiskey and
Whiskey and
wine.
wine.
Whiskey and
Whiskey
Whiskey
and
and
Whiskey and
wine.
wine.
This is part 1. Part 2 is coming. Antigone Rising. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Ryan.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Take care. Great job, Kristen.
Great.